Hi, everybody. Paige Panzarello here, the Cashflow chick. And I wanted to talk about the importance of paying for servicing companies to handle your loans. There are some dangers that are involved with self-servicing your loans. And I know that a lot of note investors do that. And let me back up a little bit in case you might not know what servicing companies and servicers do, okay? Servicing companies are an integral part of your exterior team. They are licensed debt collectors, and they handle not only communication with your borrower, but they are the place that a borrower is going to send their payment in. The servicing company takes that money and records it against that borrower's loan and amortization schedule, and then disperses that money, that payment out to you every month when it comes in. Now, sometimes borrowers, again, a lot of note investors, I strongly urge you to not self-service your loans, okay? A lot of note investors that are out there that they do, and that's okay. It's not illegal to self-service your loans. However, sometimes you get a borrower that is going to challenge the accuracy of your records. You might be taking that property to a foreclosure because your borrower hasn't paid for years. And the borrower can challenge that foreclosure. That is their legal right to do so. Now, when you have a servicing company that is licensed, a licensed debt collector, they are going to be, the reason that we pay them is that they are going to keep very detailed records down to the second, literally, the date, the time, the phone, of a phone call or a letter that's sent out, and the interaction with your borrower. All of that is recorded in their system, in their computer software that they have as licensed debt collectors and that they utilize. And it's very hard to challenge something like that in court because, again, they are held to certain regulations and protocols that need to be in place in order for them to maintain their licensing. Okay. So if you're not self-servicing your loans and you're paying a licensed debt collector to do that for you, it's very hard for your balance or your borrower to challenge the validity of that loan and of those figures. Okay. And certainly hard for them to challenge the validity of a foreclosure and put up a roadblock for you to go forward with a foreclosure based on that. Okay. Now, that being said, of course, you always want to keep abreast of what your servicing company is doing, making sure, you need to make sure that you protect your own money, your invested dollars. And you want to make sure that your servicing company is accurately applying those payments, that they accurately have delineated how much property taxes are going to be if they are collecting what's called impound, which means that on top of your monthly mortgage principal and interest payment, you're also paying a monthly amount toward your homeowner's insurance and also toward your property taxes. That goes into kind of a savings account that's held by the servicing company in order to pay your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance when those come due. Now, all of you know that I invest in non-performing notes, which means that the borrower has not been paying, at least initially. When I buy notes, I buy them non-performing and I hope to create a performing situation. But I still pay my servicer to have an account for that borrower, even if it's non-performing. That conforms with CFPB regulations, number one. And number two, it also is a place, sometimes borrowers will pay, they'll round up their monthly mortgage principal and interest payment, or they did extra 1 month. And there's just a little bit left over that's not enough to pay for your that's not enough to pay for a second mortgage payment for that month. So that money is held in reserve. When you have a servicing company, even if that borrower is non-performing, it is they take that money and put it in a reserve account. That money has to have a place to go. So if you buy a non-performing note and there's a little extra left over in the reserve account, when you change servicers, because oftentimes you're going to change from your seller servicer to your servicer, that money needs to have a place to go. And so that's why, you know, that's another reason that it's really important, even in the non-performing notes, to have a servicing company have an account for you and your notes for each individual note, because they need to account for that little extra money that needs to be held in reserve. But again, more than that is that they keep very detailed logs, very detailed records of every communication or attempted communication with your borrower, any payments that come in with your borrower, and everything is detailed down to the second, literally the second in their software. So that if you have to go to foreclosure and the borrower challenges it, it's not a he said, she said situation. If you are self-servicing your loans as a non-licensed debt collector, it now becomes your borrower's word against yours. It's a he said, she said situation. But if you employ a servicing company to handle that for you, it's no longer a he said, she said situation. They are a disinterested third party, and they are licensed in the state where your note and where the securing collateral is located, right? So, but that is so important, because again, if there's ever a challenge to a foreclosure, if you're not a licensed debt collector, then you may have said something to your borrower that is against CFPB regulations. And now you're going to put yourself in hot water as well. Okay. So again, just be secure, protect yourself, protect your invested dollars, even protection for the borrower, because the servicing companies are also protection for the borrower. They liaise between you and your borrower. Now there's another team member called loss mitigation. They are direct contact as well with your borrower. I'm going to talk about them in another video, but I just wanted to kind of pinpoint the dangers of self-servicing your loans and why you should use a licensed debt collector as your servicer, even for your non-performing loans, but specifically your performing loans. If you buy a performing loan or you get a loan to reperform, please, I urge you strongly to board that. It's called boarding. Board that with a licensed loan servicing company, and let the liability fall to them. Let them be the professionals and do what they do best. And that way it removes you from harm's way and really secures your invested dollars in your notes. So I did want to talk about that a little bit. Again, if you're interested in notes, if you want to learn about notes, how to buy them, how to find funds for them, what to do with them, join me at the Building Wealth with Notes workshop. You can go to buildingwealthwithnotes.com and register for an upcoming workshop. If you're interested in talking to me and have questions about notes, I'm happy to do so. Just reach out to me at cashflowchick.com and you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me. I would love to hear from you. I hope to see you at one of our workshops, and we'll talk soon. Bye.